Forge FC is ready for their upcoming match.
Simply stunning stuff! And finally, their goal! My word, what a rocket!
Now, let's get you up to date with Anthony Urciuoli and Match Day Preview on the Forge Audio Network.
Hey, Forge fans, it's the Forge Audio Network. Forge FC taking on HFX Wanderers at Wanderers Ground in Halifax Sunday at 2 o'clock, and this is your match day preview. It's kind of bizarre to think about. Forge FC has only played one league match this month. The TFC match is kind of crammed in there. So after that 3-0 win over Pacific, Forge getting another crack at domestic play, and they have some games to make up in the table, which is a good thing because things are tightening up, and boy, are they ever. Cavalry now, the team to beat in the Canadian Premier League. They are 2 points clear of Pacific, who have been struggling. They have one win in their last 5, so Pacific right now with 18 points. They are in second place. Cavalry with 20 points, and they played one less game than Pacific. So Cavalry catapulting up into that top spot. Forge now 6 points off of the lead at the top of the table behind Cavalry, and they've played 2 less matches. So, listen, these are 6-point swings now. We're getting into that part of the season. Yes, it's still, I guess, relatively early. We're a little more than a third out, but points are at a premium even now. When you look at the logjam, you have a feeling that first place, whether it's first place or fourth place, these spots are going to be determined by a point or two. So, again, I said points at a premium. Opportunity to pick up points. You don't want to drop any, especially when you are a team that feels they can finish at top of the table and finishing first. I will remind you every single week, for those that say, hey, just get into the playoffs, anything can happen, positioning isn't important, ridiculous. Finish first, guaranteed home field for 2 straight matches, and essentially we win 2 matches at home, we're the champions. You cannot ask for a better scenario than that. So Forge FC targeting that top spot, and they are in position to do so. They just need to pick up some points. They are playing a club in Halifax who is going to be a little bit angry still. Last time they played these 2 clubs in Halifax, Forge handed the Wanderers their worst home loss in franchise history. The final was 4-0, pure domination from Forge from whistle to whistle. Now, this is it's also an interesting part of the year when you have players gone on international duty. Your depth is tested, and with roster limits in this league, depth is just of the utmost importance. And Forge has proven that they can go to their bench and they can rely on some, whether it's substitutes, whether it's young guys, older guys, it doesn't matter. They've been able to plug guys in when they need them. It's the club, the system in place. It is like a well-oiled machine in the sense that every single player that steps on the field is expected to do a very specific job. It doesn't matter what your level of experience is. The job is the same, and you need to be able to perform. And, we talked about the tactical demand from Bobby Smyrniotis. It was instituted early. Players have caught on. Clearly, this team has been much, much better over the last few weeks than they were to start the season. So things are starting to fall into place, and now Forge can focus only on the CPL and don't have to worry about CONCACAF or the Canadian Championship. They get more training time during the week now, more time for preparation. This is all good news. Obviously, you want to play CONCACAF matches. You want to play in other tournaments. You want to get as many matches as possible, of course. I'm not trying to spin this as it's a good thing they didn't qualify for CONCACAF. No, of course they wanted to. But okay, this is the situation at hand. We're going to look at the positives, and the positive is the club, the coaching, even more time now to prepare their squad. And depth is something that Coach Bobby spoke about during his pre-match press conference.
Yeah, I think that's part of the process that I just talked about. I think, we want to play a lot. We want to do a lot of different intricate things in the game. And to do that, it takes some time, especially when you've had some turnover in the team, some new players coming in, some players with a lot of quality. But then we've also suffered through some injuries, and now you've had to move players in and out of different positions that they've never played before. So the quality has been, I think, excellent throughout the beginning of the season, but in these last few weeks and last 3 or 4 performances, I think it's been very good as players really understand their roles more, and players are playing a little bit more in their natural positions.
And did you kind of expect this because of the idea that there was a lot of turnover for especially from your club, the way you've been more consistent year to year?
Yeah, you always expect that. I think you have to. You can't expect everything to be very good from day one. Also, we had the shortest off season of any team after being a team that played so much last year, and guys need their time. Maybe we're paying for that a little bit in some of the injuries to players. We're seeing those are the players that played the brunt of minutes last year. Some of the guys that went out earlier this year. The body needs some time to recoup. But the process is the most important thing. I think I said it before the season started. I could have predicted that over the first 8 games of the season, we'd be seeing results like we're seeing. And teams kind of moving in and out of situations, winning a few, losing a few, and probably after 10 games, you'd start seeing, where teams really are at.
Now, just another note on the international window. FIFA's international window closed on June 14th. So it all depends on who. We don't know who will be available for Forge against Halifax until match day. But one person, barring something completely unexpected, one player that will be available to Forge is Woobens Pacius, and he spoke before the match against the Wanderers.
You're not even a third of the way through the season, but how much do you guys look at the table? How much do you personally watch the table early on?
Again, I think it's pretty good. We have less game than other teams, so it make us be in the middle of the table. But if we keep going like this and keep getting the 3 points every week, of course, we're going to be on top of the table. So we are focused. We're not stressed about anything. We're focused on our next game, and it's going to be like this every week. And we're just going to keep going forward.
Forge attack really coming together and looking as potent as ever despite that slow start. Tristan Borges, 5 goals on the season. He's 1 off of the league lead. Alejandro Diaz still holding that down. He has 6. Borges has 5. Borges, though, has played less games, so he does have some more games coming up and some more opportunity to make up ground. Looking at team stats now. Now, this is something, if you're a Forge fan, you're feeling really good about these numbers. Goals per match, Forge, no one's even close. 2.25. The next best is Calvary. They're at 1.7. So Forge averaging 2.25 goals a match this season. And maybe even more impressive is how efficient Forge has been. Their goal conversion rate on their attempts, better than 26%. So more than a quarter are going in for Forge when they're getting their opportunities. The next best, Calvary, at 21.25. So 5 percentage points better is Forge at converting those opportunities. And the other stat that stood out to me for Forge, passing percent. We know Forge is going to lead in possession most weeks. And they're going to lead handedly. But not only is Forge possessing the ball and moving the ball around, they're just, again, the efficiency. So accurate, so skilled, and such quick movement. Their passing percentage is almost at 86%. Next best at 82%. That's Pacific. So Forge making the most of all of their opportunities in that attack, looking really good as they head into Halifax to take on the Wanderers at Wanderers Ground, 2 p.m. on Sunday. Make sure to keep it locked onto the Forge Audio Network. Still coming up for you, 3 keys to the match. And, of course, make sure you check wherever you get your Forge content. If you're subscribing on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's through Forge's social media channels, there will also be a match in review following the contest. Should be a good one. Halifax looking for some revenge. Forge looking to close the gap on top spot on the CPL table. It's all coming to you on Sunday from Halifax. I'll be watching. I'm sure you will too. And we'll talk to you soon.
FC is prepared, and now you are informed. This has been Match Day Preview with Anthony Urciuoli on the Forge Audio Network. Subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.